What's going on, bro? Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, basically just going to be talking about my first experience of God, actually talking to me. It's a little bit of background. So I grew up in Christianity, did like my baptism, did my communion, my confirmation, everything like that, growing up. As I started to grow older and going into college and, figuring out about the Bible and everything like that, really just didn't intrigue me at all. Basically figured out like the Bible was pretty much, letters written long ago and basically translated into basically what it is today. And I growing up in college and everything like that, it really just caught me off guard, and really didn't kind of really believe in it. So yeah, I pretty much learned that in college, and didn't really know what to think about it. Like, I didn't know if I should believe in it or not, and just really went about my separate ways. I really believed in a higher power. I always knew that there was some form of higher power that controls everything, right? So I just didn't follow any sort of religion, if you want to say it like that. But then years go on and you start to develop, and essentially I start to getting into faith and believing in Jesus Christ and the Lord, our God, everything like that. And as soon as I started to do that, I really just started to pray and give thanks, show gratitude, really just trying to put like my prayers out into the universe. Hopefully they be getting answered. But I never really had like a conversation with God. Never really like talked to him as a friend, as a father, anything like that. Just pretty much just put my prayers out there, giving thanks, just showing gratitude, everything like that, right? So, and then fast forward, just a couple weeks ago, we went to our first men's retreat. It was basically just a retreat out in Ohio, just to get better as a man, get closer to your faith, get some questions answered, everything like that. And it's basically called the Band of Brothers. It's, like I said, it's out in Ohio. You basically detach from the world. You're out in the wilderness. It's basically just like a campground. So yeah, they got like fishing, they got like paintball, bunch of activities that you can do, you can sign up for. And it's basically just like a group of brothers. You guys all just come in not knowing each other, and at the end you pretty much just become a family of brothers, right? Because there's a lot of personal stuff being shared, and you really get to know someone for a short period of time, and then after that you really it seems like you've known them their whole life, right? So it was definitely a experience I believe that every man should go through, especially if this is something that you've been trying to get into, or just want to become a better man overall in every aspect of your life, especially if you want to get closer to the man above here. So yeah, this is pretty much where my first experience of God actually talking to me came into place. So as you can see, they gave us like this little binder here of basically what we do. It's got a map of the whole facility. So yeah, it's pretty much just like 80 acres of land, and like I said, you can do a whole bunch of stuff. And then they got your schedule for the day. So first day is obviously pretty simple. You just go through like the registration, everything like that, and get to know a little bit of the guys and everything like that. Fast forward a little bit, much how the camp or the retreat is set up is you pretty much wake up, they have like a little worship beer type deal. You do that, and then you have your first session. So this first session is pretty much you're just learning different types of things of what a man goes through. It goes in order of like a wound, getting your heart back, relationships, everything like that. So that's pretty much what these sessions are. So you'll have that, and then after the session they do what's called I forgot what the full name is, but it's just like a moment of silence. So for 30 minutes you go out into the woods or the campgrounds, and you pretty much just have a moment of silence. They give you like some questions and like in the binder that you can answer, and then you can also ask like God. You can pray to God whatever you want to do, whatever you're searching for, that's basically the time to get your answers or get your questions answered, right? So I believe it was on the first day that I was there, pretty much towards the end of the night. The first day you do take a lot in, and I think it's the most important one, because you really just figure out what the hell's going on, why you're having all these problems, and you really get a lot of questions answered during your sessions, right? So especially just going through like the whole retreat, so that first day is really just it really dives in deep, and you really get deep with yourself, knowing yourself and why certain things have happened in your life, and it really just opens up your mind, opens up your soul, opens up everything, man. So it's pretty much just mind, body, spirit at this point. Towards the end of the day, going into our last moment of silence for the first day on Friday, pretty much before they sent us off, the guy that was kind of like a leader in the whole group, he pretty much says, like, if you've never really spoken to God, or you've never really had that connection with him, they say he's always knocking at your door, but you got to be the one to open that door for him to get let in, right? So essentially, the question they have you ask during your moment of silence is, you ask God, you ask Jesus Christ, what do you think of me? Pretty much in that moment of silence, there's this, when you walk the campgrounds, there's like, you can see all the different areas, and I've seen this one area that was by our cabin. It's pretty much the chapel there. So as you can hopefully you can see on the map here, it's like right there. We were right here, so pretty much right across there. So as you don't know, chapel is just basically like a place where you go to pray, everything like that. So I knew, for some reason, I just knew to go there during this moment of silence. It's basically just like the house. It has a cross on there as well, and as soon as I get there, I do a little prayer for myself, and I say, I don't know, God, what do you think of me? And instantly, what do I hear? A train horn, right? So there's many different ways that God will speak to you. I've never heard him actually, speak words into my life. But yeah, like I said, there's always different ways that he will speak to you, whether that's through sound, whether that's something you see, you hear, you taste, anything like that, right? So that was instantly, I asked that question, and, that's the first thing I hear, like instantly. It's super loud. You're in the wilderness, there's no train tracks in sight, right? So that's the first thing I hear, right? So, when I hear that, I instantly go into my notes, and I start jotting down, characteristics of a train, right? So I'll kind of share them with you guys here. What do you think of a train, right? It's loud, fearless, powerful, a leader. It's roaring, revolutionary, the conductor, and fierce. Obviously, if you've ever seen like some of those train videos of it's smashing into things, as soon as that thing is going, there's no stopping it, right? So that's basically what I thought of a train, right? So pretty much thinking this in my head, and jotting these notes down, and as soon as I'm done, he sends me one last train horn. And it's really just crazy to think about, man. Like, he really does speak to you in a lot of different ways, and this was like the very first time that I asked him this question of what he thought about me, because it doesn't matter what you think of yourself. What matters is his thoughts on you, right? So it really just brought a sense of motivation, inspiration, and about all the things that I've done in my past, and really just not feeling worthy, or really just feeling like a failure, sad, depressed, lonely. Really just asking that question to him really just made me feel like really made me just feel like he does love me. And my bad guys, kind of got a little emotional there, but yeah. So like I said, it's definitely made me feel like I'm supposed to be here. I have a purpose, and you know what I want to do does bring me fulfillment, bring peace, happiness, and that's what I basically want to give to you guys, inspire and motivate you guys to not only allow him into your life, but you know, become friends with him, have a relationship with him. He is our Father, whether you have a real one or not, right? He's always there for you. You just got to let him into your life with just some simple questions, right? So he's always there. You just have to seek the word. You have to seek the Lord, because like I said, what they were always saying in the retreat is he's always knocking at your door. When are you gonna let him in? But yeah, this was basically my first, you know, interaction with the man above, and you know, it was definitely a great one. I will always, you know, remember it, because it was just crazy to experience. He does speak to you in a lot of different ways, and it's just up to you to see if you are paying attention or you're reacting to it. Are you in your conscious mind, or are you just letting it go past you? Yeah guys, so that was basically my first experience of, you know, God speaking to me. I would love to hear some of your guys' stories as well, so if you want to put them down in the comments as well, I would love to hear them. So with that being said, that is going to be the end of the video here. If you've ever, you know, thought about joining a men's retreat, or if you have one, or you know, don't really know, you know, what they're about, definitely look into them. It's definitely a experience just to, you know, not only grow as yourself, but get closer to God, and you know, meet some great people too while you're there. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video for today. If you did, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
No other name is worthy.